I'll call upon Venkat on the stage. Thanks a lot, Steve. Gold partners supporting us in this in Java Fest. Venkat has over 20 years of experience all in Java ecosystem. He will now take us through Spring Boot 3 migration. I have to make a mention of one thing. Despite some of Venkat's personal challenges, he still stood by his commitment to the community and to Java Fest. Thanks for that, Venkat.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Yeah, I'm there. Okay, bad. Yeah. Yeah, that's me. Welcome all. My name is Venkat Seshasai, and I'm working as a solution architect with EPAM systems. Perfectly fine. So I'll take this opportunity to actually convey one more sort of a kudos to our scientist, ISRO scientist, who made the Chandrayaan 3 possible. Okay, so one big applause for them. Okay, because I'm a great follower, because these are the folks who make us really proud, right? We just do the coding, but they do the real thing, which is, of course we do also, but then yeah, more kudos to that, correct? Yeah. So yeah, thank you. So yeah, my name is Venkat, and my primary job responsibility is as a solution architect in EPAM. So EPAM is a company. It's a product services company. I just want to give a little bit of introduction there. We work with many product vendors, and we are sort of we excel in the this product engineering services. So that's a short introduction. We work with many different companies. So you can actually visit our site, and then you can get sort of benefited out of that. So this particular presentation is about modernizing your application using Spring Boot, and then this is primarily, it's a part of it is about the guide to Spring Boot 3 migration. Okay, so we all know. I'm audible? Yeah, thank you. We all know that Spring Boot has come out with the Spring, that means Pivotal, has come out with this new Spring Boot 3. It was some time back, right? And everyone actually is quite excited about it. So why do they come out with this, and then why it is important for us, this particular Spring Boot? Why should we migrate, and what are the new features there, and what are the challenges there? So that is going to be the I should say the point or the main emphasis of this particular presentation. I've been told to expedite my presentation, so that's why I given my email ID. If somebody is interested to send their queries, kindly send the queries. And I actually thank all the organizers here, first of all giving me this opportunity to speak with our people who of our ecosystem, right? That's very important. This is a place where we connect with each other, right? Okay. So the agenda for this is what's new in Spring Boot 3.x, why the Spring Boot 3 is necessary, upgrade is necessary, and what are the changes, plus what is an upgrade approach. Okay, so these are the 4 major points which I am trying to cover. So I'll be going a little bit faster, so kindly bear with me. This presentation is there, which can be I can share it over also. Okay. So what is new in Spring Boot 3.x? First is the Java 17 baseline. Okay, so one should understand that with Spring Boot 3, the baseline version is Java 17. You have to do away with your JDK 8 or 11, whatever you're using. Your baseline version has to be JDK 17. Okay, if you don't do that, it won't work. And just to tell you what are the advantages of using JDK 17. So these are the metrics which for a given set of machine configurations it was done. You see that how efficient Java 17 is. Yes, and over the years it has been sort of improving also, right? All the JDK versions. And then we have a native Graal VM support also, which is built in now. Okay. We have a log4j enhancements where we have something some profile specific configuration, which is a Spring profile. So we can actually use the Spring profile. Also, logback and log4j has got this new logging data format. So this is what it is. If you see that T is the change which is there, and if somebody wants to use the old pattern, then they should use log data format pattern. So it can be compatible. Now, as our friends some time back for the Spring observability, right? They had actually told about this. So this observability is one of the major sort of a feature which Spring Boot 3 has brought in, and it has got a lot of advantages. So as our friends from the Sabre, actually they were doing the presentation, so that was a practical presentation. This is the information which is there, where you can actually move to that micrometer, and there is support. If you see that the it provides a tracing support with multiple, that is open zipkin and the open telemetry. Okay, and also it auto configures your observation registry, and also it auto configures your micrometer tracing also. So the supported part is, I think they spoke also about the Brave, open telemetry, zipkin, and as well as Wavefront. Okay. Now I just wanted to dive a little bit deep into the micrometer observation API. So these are the three important aspects of the micrometer observation API. One is observation registry, and observation handler. So if you see that we require to create an observation, we require an observation registry, and then there will be an observation handler which can create these things, and then there is an observation objects. So that is what the object which the observation handler will take care of it. I have given a link here which can help you in migrating to the new 1.10.0 observation API. So this you can refer to. I wanted to show it in the screen also, but I think we don't have much time here, so I want to go a little bit faster. So why do we need upgradation is necessary? Okay, so if you see here, it has been the major update first for last 5 years, and the OSS support, right? It actually is going to get over by November 2023. So you can continue to use 2.6, so 2.7 or 2.x, but if you want to continue after November 2023, it will be on your own risk. So that is what the major aspect of it. You have to move towards it if you want a support. Okay, because why support is required? I think you guys are all aware of CVEs, that's the vulnerabilities, correct? So even the JDK, those versions which has got support, LTS, they only give you the patches, right? Those we are out of OSS, they don't give you the patches. It is left up till you to do all the magic or whatever permutation combination with your code. Okay, and that is very important. That's the reason why we should migrate to the higher version, right? So that's what I want to let you know. So it is about that there are bug fixes which are given at a set time, and we can actually upgrade, we can patch it. And if you don't do that, so this is one of the vulnerabilities which I am trying to show. I think everyone knows about the log4j vulnerability, correct? Everyone is aware of that, right? So that actually created a sort of a nuclear explosion in our industry. It was a sort of a lot of revenue losses were there because of that, right? Similar to that, there is a Spring 4 shell security vulnerability also is there, but that is resolved with 5.3.18. That's what I'm aware of. So it is resolved with 5.3.18, but such vulnerabilities you should always look at. So what I suggest is that whenever you use certain libraries, there are websites which will talk about that particular product's vulnerability, if there are some vulnerability. So there are CV details, one particular website is there, you should normally go there and find out, because that's a very good practice. If you don't do that, then you will end up in a problems. And then along with that, there are some libraries removal and deprecations. Okay, so here if you see, these are the Spring related projects. So we have session security, REST talks, LDAP. So what has happened is that these are the updates which are come upgrades which have come to the Spring projects. So one should see. You have questions? You have any questions? Please, you can ask in between, or maybe I can keep to the last. Okay. I hope I am not going fast. You are able to get that information. And then there are some upgrades to the third-party libraries also. So in the Spring Boot 3.0.m1, for people who are using these libraries must use the upgraded libraries here. Same thing with M2 and M3 and M4. So these are the set of libraries which have been upgraded there. And then some of the important parts is that the REST template is deprecated now. That's a very important part of it. I think it's a bread and butter for many people to use the REST template, right? So now it is deprecated. It is not future proof. That is very important. So what alternative we have is that we should use the web client. So web client can be used for both synchronous and asynchronous sort of operations. And I have given a link on how to use the web client to execute synchronous requests. So there's a part of the code which is given there. So if you see that we have, so we need to use mono there, or else there are other one block method also is there which you can use. But in this link which I have given you, the Stack Overflow, it will give you the best practices. So you can just follow that. Okay.
What are the limitations of REST template?
No, not limitation. Their support is off. Also, limitations you are talking about. See, typically, I cannot say much on that the limitations of it, but then typically web client is more, what you can say, robust compared to a REST, because it's a blocking operation, correct? REST template is a blocking operation. So blocking operation is always a sort of it leaves a negative sort of a thing on the application. So that is why they are relegated that to the web client now. Okay. And then the Spring Cloud Sleuth. Okay. So now the Spring Cloud Sleuth last minor version is 3.1. Okay. And now it has been sort of moved to micrometer. That is what our friends in the previous observability session had pointed out, right? So it supports following tracers, that OpenZip, Zipkin, Brave, and OpenTelemetry. And how it has to be done. The link which I have given there, it will tell you how the tracers are supported. Okay, so that link will help you out. And these are the dependencies which you need to include in your POM file. Of course, for your other part, you can refer to the other dependencies also. So along with that, there are some libraries which are removed and deprecations are being done. So if you see that dependency management for Rx Java, it was 1. and 2.x, it is removed in favor of Rx Java 3 now. Snake YAML JSON parsing was incompatible, and hence the YAML JSON parser is being deleted. And then there are deprecations. There are some deprecations with regards to auto configure metrics. Now it has been replaced with auto configure observability. So as that is deprecated. So now what are the changes there? Sorry. So any properties, with under the data prefix, suggests that Spring data is necessary on the class path. So since the data prefix has been reserved for Spring data, so what has happened is that we normally use that in our properties, right? So now you need to change the Spring data Cassandra to Spring Cassandra, but the Redis auto configuration requires Spring data on the path. So that's why it has been relocated from spring.redis to spring.data.redis. So these are the changes which you need to do. And moreover, for auto configuration registration, there was in 2.7 this import file was introduced. Okay. Now actually, and there was a backward compatibility which was there with the Spring factories. Now that support has been gone. That it has been removed in favor of import files. So now going forward, auto configuration need to have that import files. And in the Java EE8 and Java EE10, this is what changes we need to do. So the persistent entity, servlet, valid, all must be now removed and moved towards Jakarta. So now if you see, just that Jakarta has been replaced for the Java X. So these are the important changes which one has to do. In the Hibernate, of course, by default, 6.1 is being used in Hibernate. So there is a migration guide which is given, and apart from that, the Hibernate dependencies now use this new group ID, which is called as org.hibernate.orm. So we need to ensure that we use that group ID. And in some of the cases which I have experienced, the native SQL query, okay, has to be changed. We need to add alias now in the select to identify which table to be fetched to avoid duplicate. So what we had to do was that initially it was select star from table name and PD. Now we need to use that alias PD dot whatever. I mean, depending upon your whatever alias you want. And then the type def and the type has been deprecated. So these things you will find an error, but then you need to sort of the solution for that is actually given in that particular reference, so you can actually look at that. One more thing, important part is the Spring security. So the Springboot 3 uses Spring Security 6. So the changes which are there with Spring Security 6 is the web security configure adapter has been removed, and then we have to use the security filter chain instead of that. So if you see that in the code, we are using security filter chain, okay? And then there is a @enable web security annotation which is being used. Next is authorized request has been deprecated with authorized HTTP requests. So how to use that? If you see that we have removed that authorized request and it has been replaced with an authorized HTTP request. So that is a part of code which you can actually refer to. And then we use a lot of things like ANT matcher, MVC matcher, regex matcher. Now it has been deprecated and is replaced by request matcher or the security matcher. So if you see that wherever you find request matcher, if you see that /greet and permit all, you can reach this API without any problems. But if you want to really have some authentication done, then you can actually put it in the other format, that is any request, and then you can formulate your own security for API. And then we have Spring MVC changes. So we had the handle interceptor adapter. Now it has been deprecated and it has been removed in 6.0. So the replacement is we should use handle interceptor. So handle interceptor adapter was an adapter, but whereas this is a interface. Normally we actually do a coding to interface. That is the best practices. But there is a sort of a negative side of coding to an interface, because if you don't want to implement the other methods, right, it will just be there as a boilerplate code. So you need to live with that boilerplate code. Okay. So if you don't want to actually implement that method, you can use the adapter itself. And then there are some changes in the JMX and the actuator endpoints. So here what happens is that we have only one health point is now accessible through JMX by default, and then the management endpoints has been sort of there is a properties required to be configured to change this, and then any sensitive values because what happens is that in the /env and /config props, it was actually exposing some sensitive values, so that has been masked by default. Okay, and in the Spring Boot release, what has happened is that the role-based method has been introduced. So what happens is that you can actually always use this never always when authorized clause there, and when you use never, that means every value is sanitized, and always means the output contained by all the values will be sanitized, and then when authorized means the values which only present in the output if a user is authorized will be applicable. Okay. And then we have for the JUnit and the Mockito. So some of the mocks may not work with Java 17. So one of the examples which I encountered was using the random class. So the solution is to use this particular mock secure random class with settings, that is without annotations. And then there is a list of Mockito issues which is listed for with respect to Java 17. One can find that those lists there. And then in order to, so suppose if you have problem with the Mockito, you could use Mockito inline. So there are two steps which you can do to actually fix the problems. Switch to Mockito inline and set Mockito version to 5.0.0 or later. And what is now coming to the Spring Boot upgrade approach. So the first step is that we should actually install the JDK, and then the next step is about to upgrade the project to the latest available Spring Boot versions 2.7, and then the step 3 is about reviewing the all the internal and external dependencies. Step 4 is about reviewing deprecations from Spring Boot 2.x. Okay. And step 5 is about then you upgrade to Spring Boot 3. Before you should not go directly from upgrade to Spring Boot 3 directly. You need to follow these steps. And then in the step 6, there will be a lot of compilation issues which need to be fixed. And then step 7, the configuration properties migration. And step 8 is update the packages which I have shown earlier from JavaX to the Jakarta. The step 9 is verify upgrades on the core if any changes are required. And then step 10 is review upgrades on the web application. So these steps if you follow, then your upgrade will be less painful, and it will actually be less time consuming also. Apart from this, there is a tool which we had actually tried to use, but I didn't use in my project. There is called as Open Rewrite tool. So this tool, it's a command line tool. When you try to run this tool and point it to your existing Spring Boot 2.7 project, then what it does is that it sort of bumps up. So for example, the POM is there, right? It actually updates a POM with the whatever version is required for the Spring Boot 3.3, and likely in the code also it will try to change from the Java, as I said, it was from JavaX to Jakarta. So all those things it will change and keep your work and keep it ready. So it will actually spit out one more sort of a project where all these changes will be there. So you can actually ensure by compiling it and then running it that your project is running successfully or not. So these are the things which I have tried to identify in the Spring Boot 3 migration. And apart from this, there could be some other issues which might be there which I have not encountered. But if somebody encounters it, please let me know also, because I'm trying to build this particular information into one place where it could be helpful to others. So that is my sort of I come to end of the presentation, and thanks to the team here, okay, for giving this opportunity, right? And any questions? I'm ready for the questions. I think half an hour is okay. I was in time, so I wanted to follow it. Otherwise, she's not going to leave me. Any questions? Yeah. Right now, we can use an open source. So you can go to the site. So I have written out there how to upgrade the Spring Boot 3. If you see here in the bottom, okay. I'll share this PPT. So sorry, I wanted to actually take this link and show it on the screen and how it looks like, but I could not do so. Okay. Yeah. Any more questions? Yeah. So if you're in 2.5, always they say that you go to 2.7 first. Ensure your code is compilable and all those dependencies are met with. Then you move towards 3.0. And while doing so, it is painful. It is not. I myself have not used the open rewrite now, but I plan to use it. Okay, but right now it has been a painful process for us. Yeah, hibernate. Just a minute. Yeah. Yes, I'm coming there. You won't, but then typically we are forced to use the native queries, correct? We are forced to use native queries. Plain JPA might be helpful to you, but then it is not so. We have to write a lot of native queries. So that's why we encounter these problems. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. You can do that. Perf- Performance. Yeah, I mean you are going to leverage the JDK 17 performance also, right? Plus, I forgot to mention. I mean, JDK 17 itself has got new features, correct? I mean, everybody will know it. Vector APIs and sealed classes. There are so many things, right? So that itself is going to boost your performance, right? So please use the latest version for the new features part of it, but to ensure the security. Otherwise, I mean, you are going to pay dearly, or your company is going to pay dearly if you don't adhere to this security part. That's why I was talking about security, right? Because recently, the company which I worked in, they had to cough up, I mean, enormous amount of money because of the security lapse, right? Okay. Spring Cloud. It is upgraded. I mean, I try to just sorry, I'm going like this. Yeah. So here, ATOs I didn't include. Yeah. I mean, I try to put in the projects which have been upgraded. So you can find out from here. If not, then you kindly reach out to me. I'll try to help you out. Okay. Any questions? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there are websites. There are websites where you for Spring Boot 3, right? What is the dependency management website is there. So that dependency management for Spring Boot 3.2.7 and 3.0 is also there. Okay, so that you can go and verify. That can help you. That's why this open rewrite is there, right? It is a very good tool that will help you. For example, if you have in your old POM, if you are pointing to JDK 11, right, and when you run this open rewrite, it will bump up to 17. So you need not bother about much. You can actually see it in your GitHub. I mean, that diff, what has changed, right? So I'll suggest that some tools are there. Kindly use the tools. I think it will help you reducing some of your work. But there are some workarounds which we need to do. Okay, so it is not straightforward right now. Performance impact. So those will be your own your own algo, right? Correct. The algo will not change, correct? That is still going to be used. I mean, if you are using certain libraries, certainly you need to move to the upgrade the libraries. Otherwise, it is not going to work.
I ask time.
Thank you very much, and it's a great pleasure to actually sort of present in front of the luminaries.